All right, so to make baklava, we need some phyllo dough, and you need to struggle to open the package because if you don't, then you're not having fun, or you just might be good at life, which I'm working on it. My personal qualities are getting there. I'm working on them every day, but we're gonna unravel that bad boy. It comes folded up in a like circular pattern. Okay, we're gonna want to melt this stick of butter, get it all bubbly, separate the milk fats and the other stuff, and get that in that little pan. And we're going to brush in between each layer of the baklava. And also, we are going to want to butter the heck out of that pan because I don't want my baklava to stick. I don't want it to be served in the dish. I want to eat it with my fingers, eat it with my hand, eat it with my mouth. But you know what I'm saying. Okay, we're going to really smother this bad boy. Just coat that in that dairy goodness. I need a lactate for this one. We're going to dip this other stick of butter. Yeah, this is not a healthy recipe. We're going to dip it in the melted butter to try to melt that end a little bit and just really Crayola color in with butter that glass pan. We really just need to miss no spots. Get everything all nice and slathered. This shows one of my personal qualities that I'm improving on. Patience. Because if I could just press a button and that whole thing would be buttered instantly, I would. But I'm making sure to not leave a centimeter of unbuttered space. So we're going to start layering on our phyllo dough. Trying to get it pretty flush with the glass cook container pan. In between each layer, I'm going to dip that little paintbrush red looking thing into the butter, drip it on top and try to brush it a little bit. And this is going to help the layers come together and stick and just, adhere to each other. Look at that. Ooh, brush it on. Let's go. I'm the Picasso of this baklava. And you guys are just watching the painting. All right, putting our second layer in. And I'm not going to show all the layers because I don't want you guys to fall asleep. I want you to be able to think of some questions to ask me for the end of this exhibition. But we're really just going to do the same thing as last time, but layer, layer, layer until we get a few layers going. Usually 6. I don't know how much I did here. I think about 4, but 6 or 7 layers before you start adding your delicious walnut and my favorite mixture, walnut and pistachio. It's kind of like a 70% walnut, 30% pistachio. Quantitative reasoning. That's just what I like. If you guys like it different, then you can do it different. If you're never going to make baklava in your life, then, good for you, but you're missing out. And we're just going to really drizzle. Look at my face. I'm just really focusing on the drizzle and the brushing of that butter. And phyllo dough is kind of a pain in the neck to work with. So I'd recommend using a damp, kitchen towel or just a damp towel to keep it moist, because if this dries out, it's going to disintegrate like a piece of burnt paper. And here's the nut mixture. I'm just going to absolutely sprinkle that bad boy of a mixture into that baklava. That's going to be the nice aromatic, nutty, delicious, scrumdiddlyumptious middle of the baklava. And we're going to be generous because I love my nuts in baklava. All right, we're going to add some more phyllo layers. You can add more than the bottom. You can add less than the bottom. I would recommend about the same or more. Definitely not less, because then that'd be kind of weird, because it might just crumble all apart and not good. So I trimmed, which I should have done this before. I should have been prepared, which is one of my personal qualities I'm trying to get better at. being more prepared for situations. But I trimmed the baklava. Now I'm going to try to crimp it down so I can butter that top, let it cool, and then I can cut. Because if you try to cut it in this stage, just don't worry about it. It'll fall apart. It'll be too sticky. Your knife will not go through that thing. Even the sharpest of knives will have a hard time doing it. And I'm just trying to butter the top now so everything can be nice and fattening. So we're getting it all along those seams because no place in the baklava should be untouched by butter, especially at the top. As always, brushing that, dairy goodness around, looking at it because I'm just infatuated with baklava. Okay, so we're going to make the syrup now. It is some sugar, white sugar, granulated Domino's sugar. And we're just going to put enough to make you want to go on a diet in there. You don't really have to be specific. It's all to taste. So this is how much I like. Obviously, putting about like 3 cloves in there. It gives it a nice smell. It gives it a little hint of that clovey flavor. We're putting some Baker's vanilla or some vanilla extract in there because we like vanilla. And honey. What is a Greek person without honey in their life? We're just going to squeeze that bad boy as hard as we can for like 1 second. Put it back in the container. Make the camera shake and come back with some water. I added like a cup and a half, maybe a cup and 1/3 of water. And we're using a whisk to, guess what? Whisk that mixture around. And we're going to whisk it around until it comes to a boil. And exactly when it comes to a boil, we want to just stir it around and then shut off the heat. Oh, yeah, and I put some orange peel in there because citrus and sweetness, just, for me, they go together like something that goes together. I just love it. Look at that stirring action. Look at that. Oh, and a cinnamon stick, but that doesn't really do much. It just looks cool. You see that bubbling, frothing up? It's raising, and I don't want it to spill on the burner because then it will kill everybody in my house, burn my house down, and look at that syrup. Chunky, delicious, sugary goodness. Baklava in the oven. It has been cut into little squares. It has been rested. It has been awesome. And now it's just about done. Slapping my oven mitts down in anger because I want to eat it already, but I got to let it sit. We're going to take that bad boy out and look at that. Golden brown, maybe a little bit more than golden brown is perfect. And I'm just admiring that bak. Look at that. Touch the top. Nice and crispy, crunchy goodness. And now it is time to ladle in that syrup. Just pour that on top. And I didn't add in the audio because it was hectic in my house. So if you heard the audio, it would be a sizzling, sugary baklava goodness. But you're going to have to do that if you make it yourself. And look at that. The reason why we put it after we bake it is because, you want it to all soak in. You don't want it to kind of boil in the middle because it'd be a mess in your oven. It'd be a mess in your life. You just would not want to deal with that. You still might start a fire. I don't really know, but do it after. You add hot syrup to hot baklava. That is the recipe for success, my friend. And just, I can't get enough. I'm sorry. I gotta stop making these noises and look at that finished product. Time for the questions.